Okay, this is a meeting of the Tewksbury Conservation Commission, April 15th, 2020. I lost yours again for some reason. I don't know, I keep losing it. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Could I have approval of minutes for February 19th, 2020?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan? Mr. Sheehan?
Looks like he's muted.
Is he there?
Can you try it again?
Can you hear me, Pat?
Yeah, we need your
Okay.
eye on the,
Yes,
on the
okay,
board.
I've just got on. Aye.
Okay, chair votes aye as well. Now I need a motion to approve the minutes for March 4th, 2020. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Now we have the minutes for approval for the minutes of April 1st, 2020. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the continuances so nobody's hanging on the line for it. Item A is continued from April 1st, 2020. It's a public hearing notice of intent. Pepti Corporation, 600 Woburn Street, map 3, lot 82, DEP number 3051106. The applicant is requesting a continuance to May 13th, 2020. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Yeah, I was trying to catch us off guard. Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, item C is continued from April 1st, 2020. Notice of intent, Richard Montori, Town of Tewksbury, Town Manager, 135 Pleasant Street, map 47, lot 40, DEP number 3051103. This applicant is requesting a continuance also to May 13th. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next item to be continued, item D, continued from April 1st, 2020, public hearing notice of intent, Mark Ginsburg and Ani Martel, 325 Marshall Street, 32 Lot 3, DEP number 3051107. This applicant is also requesting a continuance to May 13th, 2020. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Now we're back to business. Okay, this is item B, continued from April 1st, 2020. Public hearing notice of intent, John Faneros, ACC Realty, 1037 North Street in 1547, 1553, 1563, Andover Street, map 39, lot 45 to 48, DEP number 3051007. And is there anybody here for that? I thought I saw Mr. Street.
I am here, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Sandy Street Civil Design Consultants.
Okay. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to pull the plans up here. Off to a slow start, I guess. Let me see what I can do here. Not seeing this
Can
on my
see it,
screen.
Nathan.
So so if you put your cursor, there you go.
There we go, yeah. It wasn't showing up in the list of things I have open. I actually have too much going on. But at any rate, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Again, Andy Street, Civil Design Consultants. I believe we were last here, I think it was in February, I think, so a couple months ago. Really the design hasn't changed. Since then, we've been working with both the fire department, the DPW, and the planning board to try and satisfy some of their concerns, some of their comments. But the general layout that you see on my shared screen here is consistent with what we presented last time. And just by way of kind of a quick summary, this is 18 townhome style units spread out over those 5 buildings. We've got an access drive from Andover Street. There are no wetlands on, no resource area on site, but there is a bordering vegetated wetland just off the southern property line. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse moving there, but there's a bordering vegetated wetland there with the 25-foot buffer zone, no disturb extending here, the 50-foot extending onto the property here, and then the 100-foot onto here. So the majority of this project is outside of the resource area, but we do have some impacts, which is why we're here seeking approval of a notice of intent application. So as I mentioned, we've been working with planning, fire, DPW. As it stands now, DPW is largely satisfied with this project. Same with the fire department to the most extent possible. And on a Monday night, we got planning board approval for this. So hoping tonight to move this forward. Certainly happy to address questions. And I think the one thing I'd like to just discuss is originally all of this development was outside, well, all of the buildings were outside of this 50 foot. As we were working through the process, really largely to working with the fire department really largely is what this caused this. But in order to get safe access through here around this turnaround, this building, number 5 here, slid closer to the wetland resource area and is into the 50-foot no build zone. As I'm sure you know, that this is allowed if it meets certain criteria, the biggest of which is the 10% rule. So less than 10% of the total 50-foot zone cannot be occupied by the buildings. And so we are just under that threshold. We're at about 9.7%, but we are under that 10% there. Regarding the other standards and thresholds, we'll add some no disturb markers along the 25-foot zone. The potential for future development is minimal here, or future work inside this 50. I mean, for one, there's really no room, and two, anything that happens would have to go back to the planning board, and I find it unlikely that they would be willing to expand on this development, as I'm sure this commission would be as well. This area, really a lot of the site is disturbed. There used to be, I believe, an auto repair shop here, so there's a lot of disturbance already. So it's not like we're clearing a patch of woods in a high value resource area here, but so this is in an area that's already disturbed. So we're not disturbing things that aren't already like that. We're looking to improve this. We've got landscaping kind of all throughout here, some of which will help shield this building from the neighbor, which has been a big concern throughout this process. We're also working with the neighbor on some dead trees that will get taken down by the applicant or his contractor when this gets built. So given all that, I believe we meet all the thresholds for that, having that building there within the 50-foot buffer zone. We meet all the DEP standards for stormwater. Most of this driveway and turnaround here is all pervious pavement, which is our primary stormwater treatment facility. The runoff will be captured there and infiltrated, and offsite flows are at or below the levels that exist today. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. The one thing I just want to point out here is that we are requesting a waiver for work within the 25-foot. There's a lot of gravel and some berms and invasive species, so this isn't work necessarily to benefit the development, but it is work. We've talked with Ms. Gallo about this kind of throughout, and it's really cleaning up the buffer zone. So, work is probably a strong term, I guess, but it is some disturbance within that buffer zone. Are requesting a waiver for in order to make that area cleaner and more useful to the protection and the enhancement of the resource area. So, by all accounts, I believe we've addressed this commission's concerns throughout this, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Yeah, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, before we continue, Stefania, can you read for James and Dan's benefit the summary of the missed hearings? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 3 meetings that I will read the summaries for. It's for April 17th, 2019, January 8th, 2020, and then August 14th, 2019. So I can read those now. So for April 17th, 2019, the applicant's consultant gave an introduction to the notice of intent application. They summarized the existing conditions, wetland resource areas, and buffer zones for the site, and discussed the proposed work and stormwater management. The public hearing was opened and concerns were raised by the direct abutter regarding the existing drainage issues on site and how they will not improve with this proposal. The commission requested that the consultant address abutter concerns and expressed concerns with snow storage and the possibility of salt entering the wetlands. The commission discussed conducting a site visit and requested larger, more detailed plans and more information on stormwater calculations. The public hearing was continued to allow for more time to address concerns. So now this is for August 14th, 2019. The applicant's consultant explained the revisions to the plan since the last meeting. The layout has been revised and the project is now down to 18 units. The buildings have been spread out and the impacts to the 100-foot buffer zone have been reduced. The direct abutter raised concerns about drainage and standing water along the property lines, hazardous trees, and the lighting. It was noted that lighting is a topic for the planning board. The applicant explained that they are using pervious pavement rather than a detention pond because the test pits revealed creating a pond would be a challenge. The chair recommended that abutter discuss the hazardous trees with the applicant. The hearing was continued to September 4th. So this is for January 8th, 2020. The applicant's consultant gave an update since the last meeting. The project has 18 units spread out over 5 buildings. Due to concerns with the fire department, one of the structures is within the 50-foot no-build zone now. They explained how they are also trying to address stormwater concerns with the abutter by proposing to reshape the area in the no-disturb zone with the intent of the area to be grass in the long term. The project was continued to the next hearing. And that's it.
Okay, so this is the next hearing. This has been a long time coming. James, Dan, any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
I
Okay.
have no questions.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody on the line that would like to speak?
There's no caller. There's no callers, Mr. Chairman, but I would hold off for probably about 30 seconds so the YouTube stream catches up.
Okay, you let me know when that is.
The stream should be caught up by now.
Okay. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Anybody?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Okay, now, Mr. Street, how long's this been going on? A year and a half, 2 years now?
Oh, yeah, I think that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, we've spent far more time with their counterparts in the planning board, but yeah, the project's been well over a year at this point, yeah. Yep.
So with that being said, I think we're ready to move forward. Did the planning board approve the project last night? The night before last?
Monday night, but yes, they did. Yep, yep.
All right, so I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the notice of intent and issue an order of conditions with special conditions. Okay? Number one, you're going to have the standard order of conditions. You're going to have to use 2 sets of erosion controls that shall be used during construction. A detailed dewatering plan shall be submitted and approved by the conservation agent prior to the start of work. A detailed plan for the removal of the gravel berm and the invasive species removal in the no disturb zone. No disturb zone restoration shall be submitted and approved by the conservation agent prior to the work. The Street, do you have any issues with that?
Nope, no issues, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the project based on what I had just read.
So moved.
And I have a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Roll call vote. Mr. McMullen,
Aye.
Mr. Ronan,
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much, Andy.
Great, thank you all. Have a good night.
Did we cover everything, Stefania? Or did I miss anything?
Nope, that was good.
Okay. Where am I now here? All right. Now we're on to public hearing, notice of intent. Adam Goldberg, Seafried Properties, 495.
Pat,
Yeah,
sorry, we did skip 2512. We missed it during the continuances before. So
25.
that's item E.
Item E. Oh, we didn't
So-
continue that? Oh, I
No,
thought
we forgot that one.
All right, before we move on to that, we'll go from a continued from April 1st, 2020, public hearing, notice of intent. Kazajian Enterprises Incorporated, 2512 Main Street, map 94, lot 65, DEP number 3051111. The applicant is requesting a continuance to the May 13th meeting. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote? Mr. Ronan?
On mute. Sorry. Aye.
Okay, Mr. Sheehan?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Okay, so now we're on to item F, a public hearing, notice of intent. Adam Goldberg, Seafried Properties, 495 Woburn Street, map 1, lot 1, and 40 Discovery Way, map 1, lot 3, DEP number pending. Is there anyone here for that?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Connor Nagel. I'm the civil engineer of record for the proponent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sharing my screen with some graphics. Can you see that?
Yep.
So the project site is at 495 Woburn Street. It's a site that's split into 3 municipalities, the former Raytheon site. A portion of it is in Lowell, Billerica, and Tewksbury. It's just to the east of the Concord River and just west of the MBTA commuter rail tracks, with a short private road called Discovery Way bringing it to Woburn Street. The total parcels, approximately 118 acres. The portion in Tewkesbury is 46 acres. And the development footprint is a little under 70 acres, which is confined to what was the former Raytheon development footprint. North of the development footprint is all wetlands, and we're not proposing anything up there. So if I move on to the next slide. This is what we're proposing. It is a 715,000 square foot facility. Again, almost equally split in Billerica and Tewkesbury, as is the overall development footprint. The general layout would stay the same as existing, with the entrance coming from Discovery Way across the MBTA tracks, confining the footprint to the previous development, and in fact pulling the pavement back from the edges most of the way around. The site is surrounded by wetlands on three sides. The south, the Concord River and wetlands to the west, and wetlands, as I mentioned, all up in the north. So from a Tewkesbury specific point of view, we have some wetlands in the southeast corner here, an isolated wetland, and wetlands to the north. The site, the proposal will have loading docks surrounding the north and south sides of the building, employee parking on the east and west. From a drainage perspective, we are meeting the stormwater management and local bylaw requirements with infiltration systems that have been placed throughout the site, 5 of them in total. These have been through a review process with Raytheon and their LSP of record. It's well known that this site has some subsurface contamination. So this went through a rigorous review with them to be sure that these infiltration systems would not exacerbate their remediation efforts. We have submitted a stormwater report. I understand that the town engineer, Mr. Hardiman, will be reviewing that. Utilities will all be served as they are existing from Woburn Street. A new force main for sewer is the only change to that. I guess that's really all I have to say about the site specifically. I have with me Laura Leitch, who is our environmental wetlands consultant, and I'd be happy to hand it over to her and let her further explain in detail the wetland resources around the site.
Okay.
Thanks, Connor. Can everyone hear me okay?
I can.
Oh, good. Someone can. So just to continue off of what Connor was saying, there's a very large bordering vegetated wetland to the north, mostly emergent up there. Does have a shrubby fringe along the perimeter as the topography elevates up to the site. And then on the southeast corner is an isolated freshwater wetland, highly degraded area. Mostly there was some swales in that area which appear to have a sort of a concrete or a hard bottom. So it may have received stormwater in the past, not sure, but it does have some unknown concrete structures in that wetland. It's a very degraded area. That wetland, we are proposing to fill a portion of it as part of this project. It's coming out to, get the exact number. Looks like about 2,500 square feet of fill, and that that wetland will be, it's primarily due to the need for an access road behind the building there. So the fire department will want fire access behind the building. And in order to put that in and still accommodate the size of the building, it will extend into a portion of the wetland. And so as part of the application, we're proposing mitigation for that fill to add to the BVW in the north, and trying to see it kind of, that's great, that's helpful. It's kind of behind this part of the screen, but yeah, that area is the proposed mitigation area, so will add to make a more contiguous area with the BVW that's adjacent to the site. And the mitigation will be at a 1-to-1 ratio. Will be shrub-based mitigation to match the adjacent sort of perimeter of that wetland up there. And yeah, I think that's maybe we could pull up the mitigation plan, Connor, if you don't mind. That's great. Yeah, that one. It's sort of a close-up here of the mitigation provided in the area that it's provided. I think at this point we understand that the commission will be requesting a peer review on this application, and we were just hoping to open the hearing and hear any initial thoughts from the commission, any initial concerns about what we're proposing, and take those into account now, even though we know that the peer review is probably going to happen. It's ongoing. I think it's going under contract shortly. So that was our intent with opening tonight.
Okay. It's a lot for us to take in since we just got our package yesterday. But you said you on the mitigation plan, you're going to replace 1-for-1.
Correct.
Okay. Now, I just have in these questions just kind of out there, just at the top of my head. Inside the building, is there going to be? I mean, it's a 700,000 square foot facility. There's no restaurants or anything.
No, it is a sort of logistics facility, I guess. It would be some trucks coming in and goods distributed from those to wherever orders came from, but it's no restaurant or retail type facility.
The only reason I'm asking that is because I don't see anything for a grease tank on the property, so I'm assuming you're not going to have a kitchen or anything there. Most
correct.
Buildings that size would have some type of cafeteria for their employees, but since this doesn't have it, that answers that question. I probably will have some more questions at the next meeting. Stefania, do you have anything?
No, I don't really have any questions right now. Like they said, we will be having Bill Manuel review this for the commission. So he'll go out and review the wetland lines and just take a look at the notice of intent. But yeah, we'll just wait for that review letter, and we'll wait for the town to finish their stormwater review before any decisions are made.
Well, I actually went through the wallpaper that you gave us there, all 10 rules of it. And I just browsed through it quickly, but I was having issues with a parking calculation. And I don't remember what page it's on, and I don't feel like unraveling it, but it says that the parking was going to be 80, and when I added it up, it was only 78 or something like that.
The parking count?
If you look, I forget what page it's on. It's only like the first 3 pages when you accounted for Bill Ricker's parking and Tewksbury's parking. I don't know if you have that screen there.
No, I don't have a detailed site plan here right now, but I know the page you're talking about that has the parking counts.
Yeah.
We have a parking count, if you can still see my screen, down the west side of the building here for employee parking. And then the majority is over here on the Tewksbury side.
Right.
We did meet with the Tewksbury Planning Board on Monday night, and we've had one meeting so far with the Billerica Planning Board as much as maybe 3 weeks ago. So we were continued at both of those as we worked through that.
Well, as I was looking through it, and the numbers didn't add up. It added up on every other line, but this was too off. It just makes me hesitant on the other calculations. You know what I mean?
I can certainly check back on those and make sure that there aren't any mathematical errors in it.
It was just something I just happened to notice, and I'm going, well, if this calculation is incorrect, is there another calculation that's incorrect? That was my concern. But
Sure.
that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Sheehan. Do you have any questions at this moment?
No, I don't, not at this time.
Mr. McMullen, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Ronan?
No questions either.
Okay, like I said, this is going to be a lot for everybody to swallow in the next couple of weeks. So you still don't have a DEP number, and we have to wait for peer review, stormwater management, and we have to wait for the fire department or anything? Stefania?
I'm sure the fire department are looking at these plans.
Okay.
You can definitely check in with them, but they typically take a look at them through the process.
All right.
And we have met with the fire departments jointly in both towns, actually. So they're well aware of what's on the plan here.
Now, did you have any questions from the Billerica Conservation Commission as being close to the river?
We haven't met with the Billerica Conservation Commission yet. To date, they have not established an online public hearing process. We have submitted to them the same day we submitted to Tewksbury. So we're waiting to get a first hearing date from Billerica.
All right. If you can just let Stefania know when that first hearing date in Billerica is. I'd
Certainly.
appreciate it, because I tend to watch these things.
Sure.
But I must have to get a life or something like that if I'm watching this stuff. Okay, so with all that being said, do you want to continue to our next meeting, or would you like a date further out? Or?
Yeah. Do you want to open the public hearing?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to plug. This is a public hearing, so would anybody like to speak?
We have no one yet, Mr. Chairman, but we'll give it another 30 seconds again.
Okay.
All right, I think the stream's caught up.
Okay. I did have one more question. Is the sewage going to the Tewksbury end?
Yes, it is. All utilities are going to the Tewksbury side.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to continue, and we want to go to the next meeting, correct?
Yes, please.
Continue. Okay. I need a motion to continue notice of intent, Adam Goldberg, Sea of Fried Properties, 595 Woburn Street, map 1, lot 1, and 40 Discovery Way, map 1, lot 3, DEP number pending. I have a motion to that effect.
So moved.
You have a second.
Second.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Did I say the name of the company correct? Is it Sea Fried or Freed?
Seafried.
Seafried. Very good. All right, we'll see you at our next meeting.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Next on the agenda is the emergency certification ratification, Tewksbury Department of Public Works, level lane, culvert near 1425 Shawshene Street, map 102, lot 44. Okay, Stefan, you fill us in on this. Are we having another beaver problem?
Yeah, hopefully the beaver problem is taken care of, but there was a little bit of localized flooding, kind of at the end of Shawshene Street near Level Lane where that culvert is under the road. There was a beaver dam in there, so we issued an emergency certification so that the DPW could breach that dam.
Is this the same one that keeps blocking, or is this a different one?
I think this is I don't think it's blocked in a few years. I think it's been a problem in the past, but it's been a while since they've dammed it up.
All right. Board members, any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I need a motion to ratify the emergency certification with Tewksbury Department of Public Works, level lane culvert near 1425 Shawshene Street, map 102, lot 44. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
You shocked me. You're all on your toes. Chair votes aye as well. Take care. It just messed up. And chair votes aye as well. With that, we have old business. Any old business? Hearing none. Any new business? No new business. Any administrators' reports?
So I just want to make sure that everyone signed their permits in the folders that I left out.
I did.
Yep.
Dennis?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay. So you have nothing else, correct? The only thing, what's that?
No, I don't really have anything new. So I think we're still going to continue with the web meetings. So there's a little bit of relief now with the bill that was issued. So a lot of our deadlines, we have a little bit more time to act on certain things. But I think we're just going to try to continue as we can so that we don't get stuck with a lot of work in 45 days or whenever this is done. But yeah.
We only have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't have to do anything on the 29th. We can go to the 13th.
Yeah, I
Because
think
that's a
that's
month
fine.
away.
Mhm.
So, but within that month, you don't know how many applications you're going to get, because a month is a long time.
Yeah, yeah, I could get a bunch, but we'll see.
Well, if they gave you more time, you might have to push one out to the following meeting. You know what I mean? If you get a,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So do it on a first come, first served basis.
Yep.
All right, I'll have nothing else, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
And thank
moved.
you, gentlemen, with the whip thing.
No problem.
Okay, so motion to adjourn. Did I get a second?
Second.
Mr. McMullen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Ronan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Sheehan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Everybody be safe.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Aye.